Good morning. Just a wee update on our Bushcraft buddy. The puppy is now about 6 months old, and as you can see, quite a handsome creature. And at this stage, we're not quite training him to the lead yet. We'd like him to have some fun in life, and when he gets to about a year old, the rules will tighten up. But you have to allow them to develop and have a bit of freedom and get confidence. So I'm using a 300 metre nylon tape, which means the dog can run off into the far distance. I've attached it to the lead flexible so that when he gets to the end of the cord you have time to slow down and brake without him dislocating your elbow. So it's nice that he's lying at my side for the last minute or two, and we'll move on when I move on. Let's see. Obviously, training a puppy at 5-6 month old on a 300 metre cable is, you could argue, is the recipe for disaster when it comes to walking to heel. But because he's excited about everything, even walking to heel at 5 months is something that's a challenge. But he is getting a bit wiser and more submissive and less delinquent as he gets older. Of course, he's still to reach his peak delinquency between 6 months and 18 months, so there'll be lots of hurdles and troughs in the meantime. Most experts would probably train the dog to lead, short lead, loose short lead, and then extend later. But I'm doing it by the reverse because the dog needs exercise, and I'm more concerned about walking the dog off lead most of the time in secure cover and land that's away from livestock. So that's really to fit my requirements. So now we're going to leave the path and go into rough cover up to that fox hole there, and then along the edge of the forest. Now the grass height is about the height of the beagle, so he's going to have to work his way through this, and it's good exercise, bounding and jumping and getting confident in deep cover. He's at the end of his lead at the moment. There he is in the far distance, and we'll just shout him back. Yep! Getting the idea gradually. Good boy, good boy. He's a good lad. Of course, that started by training in the kitchen with rewards, but now we're extending it to the open country. Right, let's get on with the hunt mode. I think it's probably wise to combine all kinds of training together, possibly short loose lead, walking to heel, which I'm doing, as well as extended lead combined. So he understands the difference between the hunt mode in the open country and in suburbia where he walks under control. He sees the difference between the two. Not fully, but pretty largely. Right, on with this next stage. Yep. Yep. Good boy. Yep. Good boy. Right then, get out. Good lad. Good lad. So he was working through thick cover there and took the easy way around rather than go through the thistles, but he still had a good intention to be with the pack, so that's all very good stuff. I like the way he keeps looking back as well, which is very encouraging. A habit that you want to instill, I think, quite early on. He's a handsome animal, good markings, and quite camo on the top actually. Some beagles of course are very bright, but this one we chose because we liked the dark saddle. He looks like a cross between a basset and a beagle. It's quite long on the chassis, good sturdy medium to long legs, so he's a nice squat beagle, but not very small by any means. So there are, to me, three types of commands. 4 whistles, 4 heels, like yep, 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 or if you don't have a whistle, that is, the whistle, turning back already, or dog whistle 3 peeps, but eventually a more quiet mode, like or to the left, to the right, and so on. So eventually when you're out in the bush, there's not a lot of noise being made, which is rather good. By the way, this Osu Soft I sprayed on my neck and hair and hands, and I'm swarming with flies, absolutely swarming, yet none of them are landing on me, on my head area. They're all clustering around the camera, which just goes to show that the Osu Soft by Avon, for me anyway, is a great fly deterrent and does work. Obviously, I'm not a professional dog trainer, and a lot of people would disagree with me, but if you want a beagle to be reliable in the field, you have to introduce it to, in my opinion, quite early on, to restricted mode. Otherwise, if it does get to the sweetie shop beyond adolescence, it might just go mental and not learn anything. So that's good to have a continual habit of walking similar routes in good open country that's safe. That's my opinion on the beagle training situation. Of course, gun dogs can be just as difficult, but as a rule, gun dogs are hardwired to keep looking back. But this one is as well. In American terms, I suppose the beagle is a gun dog rather than a hunting dog, but you know, it's a bit of both really if you analyse the history of the breed. You can smell something, the tail goes up, the posture goes in the shape of a pointer. Of course, if the swarms become too fierce and you start to sweat, they will come through and start to attempt to land on your nose. Or so these bug nets, I like a shout out to Hugh from Computer and Survival Gear, Hoyk High Street, Scottish Borders, who sells excellent stock, repairs computers on one side of his shop, and the other end of the shop sells big selection of ex-military equipment and clothing. And these bug nets were really cheap, and you slip them under your jockey hat, and the shadow from the rim of the hat gives you pretty uninterrupted vision through the green of the net. So I highly recommend a bug net. Now this is funny, look at the puppy, he's had enough, he's ready for a tea break. After all, it is that time of day. Yep, I think we head for the nearest stream and have a good soak and a drink. Come on then, come on. Come on then. Well, that concludes today's little lesson in Bushcraft Beagle Buddy training. 6 months old, and it's, I think, 25% the way there to being into a routine of recall from a distance. Done pretty well and continue to do well, so we'll keep at it, cutting no slack and keeping up the routine every day. And before long I'll be crashing out under the lavoo with a beagle, a young beagle called Wallace, by my side, and his old auntie, if she's still fit enough, Fizzy. So till next time, keep tuned and keep your eyes out for films, and I hope you enjoyed this short one. Good luck with your dog training if you're in the process of doing that, and remember, you have off days with them. Just draw a line and start again. It's like anything else in life. If you have a bad day, you just draw the line and start again, and it all works out in the end. One very tired dog. Well, that concludes today's little adventure of dog training. I think you'll agree, Wallace is coming along nicely, although he's now extremely tired. Look at this. So from Wallace and me, until next time, goodbye.